The 5th annual Extra Life Video Game Marathon is coming up on October 20th, 2012. Now it's time for gamers to make a difference. Extra Life is just like a run or a walk or a bike event, except you never have to leave the comfort of your own living room. Just sign up online at extra-life.org to register. On October 20th at 8 a.m., you play any games you want for 24 hours. Find out more and sign up to play online at extra-life.org. Play games, heal kids. Extra Life.
When I was streaming Extra Life last year with Bobby, I ended up using my mum's netbook for the cam facing me. And then I managed to set my other webcam up so it pretty much just captured the whole screen.
Oh, okay.
And streamed that. But it's not a nice way. It's not an elegant solution, really, is it?
No, but it's proof.
Yeah. And it was,
Yeah.
I think I might be going for a world record this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Some people recently have been doing some Snuggle truck marathons, and I wasn't at all sure about playing it for 24 hours. But if I can set a world record, a Gamesmen world record, that would be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Although I think to do a proper world record, you're meant to have someone from Guinness around to actually.
Oh yeah, and play something other than Snuggle truck.
Draw your sword, knock your arrows, and ready your spellbook. It's time for another episode of The Gamesmen. What role will you play?
Shrunken head, broken legs, body parts on the concrete. Cut 'em up, butcher-style gators in the swamp. Red light, leave 'em dead, running like a track meet. Scared of nobody, what your motherfuckers want. Believe me when I tell 'em I'm a boogeyman beast. Leave 'em slashed from their head to their feet. Pin bricks to the chest of a bitch, well-fed, cooking meat, cannibal trying to eat. I got a zombie army, and you can't harm me. Yeah, voodoo, bitch. Drink blood like a vampire without warning. Voodoo, bitch. Stand up. Sam B got the thing that go bump in the night. Whoa. Voodoo, bitch. Hide your kids, grab your wife, better get out of sight. Voodoo, bitch. Let's go. Sam B to Papa Shango, I'm bearing some Eddie. Handful of fingertips, toss them up like confetti. Stable of corpse bitches, I'm a pimp of the dead. Come fuck with a zombie, I put a stake in your head. Look, you want ghouls, I got fucking platoon. Maybe everybody dies, I'm see your ass real soon. Crack bones to the marrow, hot sauce and they suck it. Now my juju ain't nothing to fuck with. I got a zombie army, and you can't harm me. Yeah, voodoo, bitch. Drink blood like a vampire without warning. Voodoo, bitch. Stand up. Sam B got the thing that go bump in the night. Whoa. Voodoo, bitch. Hide your kids, grab your wife, better get out of sight. Voodoo, bitch. Let's go.
Greetings, guys, gals, and guildies. Welcome to episode 79 of The Gamesmen. This is the show for the week of August the 6th, 2012. I am Steve Conger, also known as JSS Lyfeliek, on basically every gaming service imaginable, and I will be assuming the role of your host for this show. And again, with me is the ever-present, omnipotent, Daniel Knappman.
Hey man, how you doing?
Dan, again, how are you?
Yeah, fine. It's weird. It feels like we just recorded the previous show.
It seems like it's just you and me anymore.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. Which isn't a bad thing because I kind of like you.
Yeah, the stalwarts of the game.
Yeah. The pillars that hold everything else up. So what's going on with Hardlydan? What are you playing, man?
Yeah, playing some games. Actually, most of the time has been spent. Mum got a new car.
Oh yeah?
Driving that around. Yeah, it's been fun. The first time I've had keys to a brand new car. That's kind of nice, that whole kind of new car smell. She got a Skoda.
What the hell is that?
Well, for years, they were like this Western European car manufacturer that built really crappy cars. But they've been bought out by the Volkswagen Group back quite some time ago now.
Oh, cool.
And, it's a Skoda Fabia Scout, and it's actually a really nice car. We're getting good mileage out of it. It's not running yet, so we're not getting the mileage we will get out of it, but at the moment it's still doing 50 miles per gallon.
Oh, sweet. Man.
It's pretty good. Even with the aircon on.
Wow.
We've had to use the aircon. It's been that hot in England.
That's insane.
I know, man. I've been, so as a result, I've been going to the beach, chilling out. But I have played a few games.
I've been kind of busy too. We're still trying to sort out this whole thing with my wife, but we can get into that a little bit later. Actually, things are getting busy and kind of getting crazy. But what are you up to? You did actually. The guys at PS Radio UK kind of hit you up with that beta key for Guild Wars 2, huh? What'd you think?
Yeah.
You got a whole weekend with it, and I barely got to play anything.
Yeah, I ended up playing, I think, about 12, maybe a bit more than 12 hours, playing as a Sylvari, which, first of all, I was on the fence about whether or not I was going to buy the game.
Yeah.
The first 3 to 5 hours, I was still on the fence. And then I got into it, and, the story evolved, and I started going to different places. I came up, met you in the game, and that map's huge.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
It seems like the stories are kind of going to get you going around most of that whole place for the characters. Maybe not every character, but, if you play enough of it, you will see the whole map.
Well,
and
let me tell you how angry I was when it took us an hour to find each other. So, because I was playing as an Assuran engineer. Right?
Yeah.
It took us an hour to find each other. It wasn't even 10 seconds after we met up. It said a new build of the game will be available. Server will shut down in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was
now,
just
the weird thing was, before that new build, we were on different servers, but we met up. And then after that build, we couldn't meet up. And so I switched servers. Eventually, we met up, but you'd gone off somewhere, and it took me so long to get into the same area that we never really caught up again. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I've always been put off by MMOs, mainly because either they're subscription based or, things like Lord of the Rings or DDO felt like that you weren't getting enough out of it if you didn't actually spend the money to progress. It's not so much with Lord of the Rings, admittedly, but I did find, I got to a stage in DDO where I couldn't do certain missions because I hadn't bought the content. That doesn't seem like I don't think that's going to be really an issue.
No, where you're paying $60 more up front than you paid for any of those other ones, too.
Yeah, exactly. At first the story didn't really grab me, but as I was getting in, and obviously it's just like one of 6 storylines.
I think so, yeah.
And, at first it seemed a little bit kind of tutorial-y, and I was like, yeah, I do know how to play games. I know what I'm doing. So I go here, get this, kill them. Yeah, all right. But after, possibly too long for a lot of people, the storyline actually started to drive the game. And I just really want to get back into it. I want to find out. Obviously, my character's not going to be the same, but I want to, find out what happens in that storyline. I want to find out the storyline for every single possible playable race.
Yeah.
That game's it's absolutely massive.
Yeah, it's pretty big, man. I only got to sort of explore a small corner when the last beta weekend when I played as a human warrior, and I kind of liked that better. I did not like the Assuran race at all because it was all like he had 2 pistols like some kind of gangster cowboy, and it just I don't know. I just wasn't digging it. Apparently, this beta weekend, as limited as my experience was, I at least found out that I do not dig that class one bit.
Yeah, well, it's a handy thing to do. At least you'll know that perhaps that'll be maybe one of your later playthroughs, or
possibly. But it's so big, I don't
possibly
even
an early
know.
one. Yeah, you might not even touch that class, that race even.
So I mean, what were your ultimate high points? Is I guess what I want to know. Like what components did you really like?
There was one of the Radiant quests. It's not really a quest, but every now and then it'll say a new event's happening nearby.
Yeah, the sort of dynamic stuff that just sort of pops up.
Yeah, and for quite some time in the game, I was trying to get to an area, and quite often this dynamic thing would pop up with this massive troll. He was like level 15, and you can't take him on your own.
Yeah,
and so quite often, a few times, that really pissed me off because I couldn't really. There were loads of like fireflies and stuff attacking me if I went off the path, and this guy was always the way. I guess if I just ran and got past it, it would have been fine. But later on, I was going back and it popped up again, and it was this troll guy, and there's about 8 or 9 of us all going after this massive troll, and he was kind of taking people out in one hit, and so there's a few of us going around reviving people, then attacking him, and then getting knocked down and getting revived. And it was a really great kind of... I like playing games like RPGs on my own, but it was great to have that kind of sense of camaraderie with people that had nothing to do with my game, really.
Yeah.
And I love the way that something will be happening. You'll be like, oh, crap, I can't handle this on my own. And then suddenly people just pile in and help you out. And there's like, you don't lose any XP because people are stealing your kills or whatever. It's kind of based on the damage you do. That was like one of the high points for me, just that tiny little bit of it.
It's basically cooperative when you want it to be.
Yeah, and I guess, if you're playing with people in a party, you get more XP and you'll level up quicker. But it doesn't have to be like that.
But people that aren't in your party aren't competition.
No, not at all. Whereas quite often
which is great.
In other MMOs, you feel like, oh, he stole my kill.
Yeah.
He's like, that's my XP you've got there.
I know, and that's just not the case in Guild Wars, which I like. I really enjoyed that part of it. Did you get a chance to do any instances?
Yeah, I did a few. I'm not too sure about that whole screen where it takes you away and you've got the two people talking, and it just kind of goes into like a 2D.
Yeah. That
felt a bit kind of hokey. It kind of takes you out of the game.
Well, to me, it almost felt like a talking head news program.
Yeah, it's like almost like how not to do a cutscene.
Yeah.
But the instances I did, they were fairly basic. Actually, I got to some level 15 stuff, 16 stuff that actually kind of tested your skill a bit more than the early ones, and I did enjoy them. The one thing that annoyed me, and I know it was the beta test, but every time you did something, that screen would pop up asking you to rate how you thought of how you thought. That got annoying because sometimes it would pop up whilst I'm still trying to attack stuff and it would get in the way. But that's obviously not going to be in the game.
Yeah, it won't be.
But from the 12 hours or so that I played of it, definitely going to buy it.
Oh, cool.
Really looking forward to it.
Wow. And
I hope that, I know DJ Leroy is going to get it. Obviously, you've got it pre-purchase, so we'll have to announce what server we're going to be running it on.
Yeah, we'll have to figure all that out.
So if any of the listeners want to come and join us, perhaps we can set up a guild.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. Gamesmen Guild.
Yep, works for me.
Yeah. If I was going to have to pay a subscription for it, I probably wouldn't buy it.
Yeah, I can see that. Of course, I don't want to subscribe to anything. Really.
Yeah, I have a problem with that whole model. But as far as I can tell, for someone that doesn't play MMOs or particularly like them, that one is kind of doing more to pop my MMO cherry than DDO or Lord of the Rings Online did.
Yeah, I think you'll probably like it.
Yeah, it's great. It feels like there's more RPG in it than other games.
There's a good bit.
Yeah,
there's a good bit, but by the same token, it is kind of streamlined too. A little more than you'd think.
When I was playing with you, I'd said how I hadn't bothered with doing any crafting. After that, I started bothering with crafting because I ended up making a bow that was better than anything I'd found.
And worth it?
And yeah, it was, because that bow I made, it was, I went to the huntsman station and realised I had picked, I thought I'll give it a go, and I picked up some tools, chopped down some trees, mined some more, and whatever.
Yeah. And
it turned out I had enough ingredients, and after I turned them into wooden planks and stuff like that, and dowels, leveled up it a little bit, it only took 5 minutes. Well, not even 5 minutes. Literally a minute. I built this bow.
Cool.
That was pretty cool. The thing that then pissed me off was it seems to take so long to level up the skill. It got to the stage where I was mining stuff that I couldn't use yet, which was a bit annoying.
Yeah.
Of all the games, Lord of the Rings Online, I keep going back to that. The crafting in that seems like, it's something you really have to focus on to get the decent weapons.
Mm-hmm.
In that, it's a pain in the ass. Because quite often you'll find ingredients that you can't get, so you've got to go to someone that's in your guild or buy them. And it's kind of almost broken. Because, if you're playing it on your own, you can't actually get hold of the stuff you need to make stuff that you need to level up. So that
stuff always intimidates me, as a general rule. Like, I'm always like, oh god, like not only do I have to learn this system and this set of mechanics within this system over here, but then there's this crafting component that has like a whole different system to it.
Yeah, and I need materials that I can't get with my skill set to make these things.
Yeah, it's kind of like Diablo. Like I go to the auction house and buy equipment that I need to be in an area that drops equipment lesser than what I just bought in the auction. Oh god, what a nightmare. But anyway.
Yeah, anyway, it gets a thumbs up from me.
Sweet. Well, the reason I didn't have time to really get into it was I was off the weekend, which you would think that I had a lot of time to play some Guild Wars, but that was not the case. Friday, Lisa's aunt and uncle were in from Los Angeles, and we went to lunch. Did some stuff there, and then that night we cooled out with some movies. And actually Thursday night we went to see the horrible Batman. Okay, maybe it wasn't that bad, but it wasn't good. We did all that. Saturday morning, I went and bought a new weed trimmer, had breakfast with Dad, come back and trimmed a bunch of weeds, and then we went to Falling Water, which is a house that was built by the architect designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. It's gorgeous. It's built into a waterfall, and man, just awesome. It was built for the Kaufman family, who were sort of like the family that owned the largest department store in the Pittsburgh area until Macy's bought them out like everybody else. So there was that. And Sunday we were running around. I think was it Friday night that I got on with you a little bit?
Yeah.
That was kind of what I did after we sort of watched the movie and stuff. With all this stuff going on with her, I really haven't focused on multiplayer stuff. I've just been trying to play single player stuff because I can only do it at a small clip.
Yeah.
And I finished The Witcher 2 finally.
Oh, wow. I've still got to do that.
Yay. Yeah. Playing the whole game, it's still a fantastic game, but it really has some glaring issues, I think. Like the separate difficulties, they're just all over the place, man.
Yeah, you dropped it down, didn't you?
Yeah, I ended up turning it down.
Make it more enjoyable.
Yeah, and it was a lot more enjoyable. I turned it down to easy. Mostly because of the difficulty spikes. There were just like boss battles in certain places that were just ridiculously difficult, and I'm sure that through attrition I would have been able to get past them.
Yeah,
but I just didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So then I turned it down to easy for a boss fight, and then turned it back up, and then I said, you know what, I'm just going to clip right through this. Well, here it's come to my attention that the CD Projekt really needs to find like a difficulty level that's sort of like tantamount to that of like Dragon Age 2. It has to be close. I mean, they have to find something. The problem is that easy, you do decent damage, but you barely take any. That's the problem. You
need to find some kind of happy medium.
Yeah, like you don't feel the need to oil your sword. You don't feel the need to use your signs. I mean, I still did because I like that stuff,
Yeah.
I like that sort of micromanagement aspect of it.
But that just made it even easier.
Yeah, it did. It made it super easy. But then when you get up to what is supposedly normal, you take way too much damage. Like there needs to be some kind of middle ground there. Normal should have been hard, and actual in between normal and easy should have been the actual normal setting, I think.
The thing that got me whenever I've played it is it doesn't always make it kind of obvious enough that you need to prepare for a fight that's going to happen.
No, it sure doesn't. It sure doesn't.
And so you're like, watching this cutscene. Oh, we're in a pool. It's cool. Oh, shit, I'm going to kill him.
I know. I mean, it seems like it wants you to either A, not use potions and buffs at all, or B, be constantly using them.
Yeah, you got to be some kind of psychic.
Yeah.
Well, I'll use these just in case. There might be a fight after this cutscene. Oh, there is.
Or like the places of power, that you find out on the map. I use those all the time, and that helped. But, man, the other thing is, the European menu design is rubbish. It's terrible. Like the problem is like the main menus. Just when you start the game, the main menu, there's no useful shortcuts that are actually that benefit like the end user. Like instead of being on the top selection and being able to hit up to go to the very bottom selection, it just doesn't exist. You got to go down, and it sucks.
It seems like it's a great in concept, but they failed in the execution, basically.
Yeah, it's like the little things. Like,
Yeah.
the menus, they could learn a thing or two from Japanese menu design, and that's saying something. You know? I would actually kind of prefer needless nesting of menus because, like, when you're in game, and let's say, like, I would press the start button on my 360 controller, and I would go down to inventory, but actually I wanted to press down again to go to map. If I accidentally went to the inventory, when I hit the B button to go back out, it takes me right back into the game instead of into that menu.
Yeah.
So then I have to press the start button again and bring the menu back up and then go down to the map, select the map. But, like, all they had to do was B goes back to the menu and, like, start takes you back to the game.
Yeah, or, B brings you back a level.
Yeah,
and if
exactly.
you press it again, once you get to the end, it takes you back to the game.
So that's kind of my problem. The other thing is that the inventory screen, which is, again, user interface menu stuff, it's just bad. I can't tell you how many times that the actual highlight starts you on one of your equipped items, and the highlighting is so poor that it's like not as blatant as it needs to be. Then you'll hit the button thinking you have something selected because you kind of do in the menu to the left, but then when you hit that, it automatically unequips your boots, and then you realize that Geralt's been running around barefoot for the last 20 minutes. So there's that, and it is what it is. It's very sort of, I guess, what do you want to call it? Eastern European or, whatever, but... Yeah,
I guess so. It feels very kind of almost Eastern Bloc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's weird, man.
They haven't had the budget to make it.
But it's gorgeous, and there are some chuckling, like, sort of laugh out loud times. Like the actual narrative branches with such an extreme divergence, man. Like the whole second chapter is completely different. Like I was talking with Greg, Murphy's Law, and he's asking me, he's saying, well, I don't know if I did the right thing here and this and that, and he's telling me shit that I have no idea what he's even saying. Like it is completely different. But, by the same token, the voice acting is pretty good. There are places that I found that it was weak.
Yeah.
But, like, there's some funny stuff. Like, I was in the dwarven city of Bergen because I sided with Yorveth in the first chapter. And... like the one dwarf, he's like, I'd rather break a rock with my prick, like
plow.
All this, I know, crazy shit.
That's the one where you've got that mist coming in, and
yes, yeah.
There's the bodies that you've got to go and find out why they died.
That was a lot of fun. I think that was really where the game hit its stride, was in chapter 2. It was a lot of fun. That's
where I'm at.
Yeah, it's great.
There's a guy there who's collecting harpy feathers.
Yeah. Yeah. And did you follow through that whole quest line?
He's got his suit.
Oh yeah. And then did you get the trophy that comes that he gives you?
When you go back to see him, they're all dyed yellow.
It's great. I don't even want to spoil it for anybody. You have to
see that. That's fantastic.
People have to check that out. It's fantastic. Yeah, and I guess just my last kind of thought is, in chapter 1 in Flotsam, I think that is one of the best representations of sort of just a melancholic feeling, man. Everything falls in line with that one song that plays, and I've had it on the show before, and probably right as soon as you're done listening to me talk about it, you're probably going to hear it again, so sorry about your luck if you don't like it. But along with that, In the Rain, and in the non-human district, the oppression of the dwarves and the elves, and it's just all that stuff, and the human sort of leadership in the town being on the take, and corrupt, and it's just, man, that to me was one of the sort of the most genuine sort of renditions in gaming of sort of melancholy. I guess just that sadness.
The whole game feels like it's really good at imparting emotions to the player.
Yeah, it is.
It is. It's one of the things that makes gaming brilliant. It seems to do that far better than movies, especially modern movies.
Yes.
And most books that I've been reading, although I haven't read 50 Shades of Grey. Seems like a lot of women are getting into that.
Oh, my wife's watching reading it now. Yeah, but I think you're right. It does that really well. Like, it's so good at setting the stage.
Yeah.
And it almost gets there with the rest of the stuff, but a lot of times it comes up short.
It's so close to being a fantastic game. It just doesn't quite make it. All those little things add together to be enough to spoil it, basically.
All right, Dan, so what else you playing?
Well, recently I've been playing around with my phone quite a bit because it's been a bit hot here and muggy at night, so I haven't been able to sleep, and so I downloaded something that a few listeners will probably be familiar with, the SCUMM VM software. It's from the old point-and-click adventures from LucasArts. Popped that onto my phone, and I've just started playing again for God knows, I don't know how many times I've played it, and I still get stuck on the puzzles. I've just installed Secret of Monkey Island and Monkey Island 2.
Guybrush.
Yeah, Guybrush Threepwood. And LeChuck.
Yeah.
Governor Marley. Yeah, I love the humour in those games. Actually, it spawns from a kind of aborted attempt to record the previous show when we were chatting on Skype a few days back. And I started talking about the Discworld games, and I'm going to pop the 2 Discworld games on my phone as well.
Oh, cool.
The SCUMM VM software for Android works brilliantly, even with point-and-click adventures. You obviously have the mouse pointer, but it doesn't matter where your thumb is, it moves the mouse pointer from it. It doesn't just go to under your thumb, so you can see what you're clicking on. You just have to, it doesn't matter where your thumb is, and it's fantastic. And it's kind of nice to be able to play those old games.
Especially
like I'm young
on
again.
a phone, yeah.
Well, the weird thing is, it runs so much better on my phone than it ever did on my old.
Is that because the hardware is just lesser, like slower speeds and everything?
Well, no, it's because I think my phone's better specs
Jesus.
than the original. Yeah, I think that's pretty much what it is. Even though it's running the virtual machine to, kind of like DOSBox. There's no load times. It's just instant. Yeah, so really enjoying getting back into those old, fantastic, sometimes ridiculously hard point-and-click adventures.
Well, speaking of point-and-click adventures, have you downloaded? You haven't bought The Walking Dead yet, have you?
No, not yet. Not yet. I'm
dude.
waiting for some. I've got to save up for that.
I know.
Supposedly £99 PS3.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to upgrade my computer. There's a surfboard I've seen that I want to buy. That's £700.
Oh man, it would have been nice when it was $14.99 or whatever on Steam sale.
Yeah.
Man, that was.
It'll be in sale. It'll be on sale again.
Yeah,
at some point.
yeah.
I'll pick it up.
I actually finished. I guess I should say her and I finished episode 2. In between hospital trips and stuff. But The Walking Dead, man. I mean, there's not much I can really say that hasn't been said already that we haven't said. Except episode 2 is a lot more heady this time. Like it is more moral decisions than it is action.
Cool.
Than episode 1. Yeah. Which is it's a big change. Like I think they're really benefiting from, different directors for each episode. Different direction. Yeah. And it really lets you focus on more of the human drama the way that the comic book and, to some extent the show does. Yeah. And it's always what they do so well. And you can sort of see it if you check out one of the TGM tag-alongs. I did one for episode 1 and for episode 2. They're so good at 5, 6, 7 minutes in. They just get your neurons like secreting epinephrine and stuff, man. Like they give you these intense, like one intense situation, like right from the beginning, and a really fucked up decision that you have to make. And it really like kind of like tickles that part of your brain like I said, the adrenaline that gives you like the fight or flight response thing. Yeah. Yeah. Like they're just so good at doing that. And like the beginning of that tag along, there's a point where you're like, oh God, like God, I have to do that. I don't really want to do this, but I think I have to do this. And
can't we find a third way?
I know, and it seems like there is one, but then I don't know if there is one, and then I replay it 16 times and I still can't figure it out. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a fantastic thing. Yeah. To tell you the truth. And I think, the biggest thing that Telltale has done right, with this game, besides like the human interaction, which the voice acting and everything has been really, really strong. But I love how, the series, at least to this point, it really reflects that, like a single zombie, man, that's a direct threat, Like a single zombie is not to be fucked with. Yeah, I mean, I really love what they're doing with The Walking Dead. They're really doing it justice. And actually, this Telltale series, more than the TV series, has me going on Amazon, and I'm like one click away from buying the little trade paperbacks with 12 issues of the comic book in each.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm close, and it's all because of the game. I think the game is awesome. There's kind of one thing that bugs me, though.
What's that?
Playing through the second one,
yeah,
I'm kind of worried how all these branching paths are going to affect like the overall performance of the game itself, because there were times, and more times than in the first episode, that Lee, who is the main character, he would be on sort of on an animation path, and he would lag behind, and then he would automatically like run or slide forward and catch up to where he was supposed to be. Or there would be talking with no voice sort of lip sync.
Yeah.
Little things like that. And it's almost like it seems like it has to take a second. It has to read the save file to see what your decisions were, then incorporate that back in to realize, okay, well, I either need to load in this asset or this asset, but it depends on did this asset die in chapter 1 or not. So I'm kind of worried by the time you get to episode 5. I don't know if everything's going to converge like it kind of did with Mass Effect 3 with the pseudo decision sort of thing.
I wouldn't be surprised if it did.
Yeah.
Just because of the amount it would have to go through, checking all those saves.
Yeah. And it seems like it's already doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm not entirely sure.
Unless they can, preload it, figure it out before the next few episodes are released so that it preloads it earlier in the memory so it doesn't have to kind of, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was some, maybe not a huge amount of convergence, but maybe like some of those like story threads get merged into one.
Yeah, sort of.
So you end up with like 3 different story threads towards the end instead of however many they could have been.
Well, and I'm kind of wondering too, like they're already having problems importing the save file on the PC. Like there was some kind of shortcut to go into the base folder, I guess, of the first episode and drag something, copy it over to the base of the second, I guess.
Right.
Which is weird, but I don't know, man. It seems, obviously it's far from perfect, and this is actually, I think, the first really like successful model of episodic sort of bite-sized successful gaming.
Yeah. It seemed like the Back to the Future one could have been, but it turned out not to be such a great game.
Yeah.
It was kind of like the test, I guess, for what they ended up doing with Walking Dead.
Well, and the thing I think I like about this the best is her and I are playing it, and we can't wait for the next one. As soon as we finish the one, it's like, like they always leave it on such a nice sort of cliffhanger, just like an episode of the TV show.
Now, would you follow the same pattern with her making the decisions and you playing? Or
Still the same thing. Nope. I sort of let her play, like if I'm making food or something, I just kind of hand her the controller, and then she gets frustrated and hands it back to me. But still, I mean, we just it's all every time, just can't wait. Can't wait for the next one.
Cool.
So, well, what about Dead Island? We Jeremy and I bought that 4-pack.
Yeah.
On the Steam sale, which was great. 4 packs, 4 actual licenses for Dead Island Game of the Year edition with all the DLC and everything. $30.
That's a hell of a deal. And you kindly gave me one of the codes. And
yeah, did you get a chance to play it? And before you answer me, let me just say that when we bought those other ones before they got yanked from us, my save file still works. It started me right where I left off.
Yeah, my save file still works, even though I had deleted the content.
Sweet.
The save file was obviously still there somewhere, so that still works.
Yeah, that's great.
Unfortunately, I've figured out it might be because I've got 2 screens now. That's the only thing that's changed.
Oh.
And there might be an issue with that. I've had this problem with the cursor not responding and having to alt-tab back into the game, which is fine if you're in a menu.
Yeah.
Basically, it seemed like the cursor was going down to the start bar coming out of the game.
Well, I did find somewhere that there were cursor issues.
Yeah, with the Steam overlay.
With the overlay, yeah. Did you try that?
Yeah, I haven't tried that yet. And actually, I'm going to dig out my old 360 dongle, so because you play it with the controller, and you've said it's actually really good with the controller, so I might give that a go first.
Yeah, I'd try that. It's actually really good like that.
Another issue I've had is now and then, when I've booted up the game, I've had this god awful crackling and noise coming through the speakers. Really,
that's weird.
Really horrible. It's almost like it's too loud, and it's not, but it's kind of that effect, and the speakers are crackling and cutting out here and there. And then if I just quit the game and reload it, it's absolutely fine. I have no idea what problem that is. But yeah, I played a little bit with Lee and Zerum the other day.
Cool.
And it was pretty fun. Really, I need to get back into it. I couldn't remember any of the controls.
I know.
I'd forgotten that I'd remap kick to the mouse buttons. All my settings had saved. I was like, what's the kick button? They're like, E. So I'm pressing E and I'm not kicking. I'm like, I'm going to have to check. Oh, there's that mouse button. Brilliant.
Yeah.
I think I want to start a new one and start again from the beginning and have 2 games running. One for online and one for single player.
Yeah, I think I'll just run one.
But yeah, having great fun with that. It's by far from a perfect game, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it is going to be a lot of fun, especially for the minuscule price.
Yeah, if you get 4 of us playing, kicking zombies, brilliant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
There's a few little things I don't get in there, like how it costs you, obviously in-game money, not real money, to repair stuff. It doesn't take any items, just the cash that you found on zombies' bodies.
Yeah, and plus, who's it getting paid to?
Yeah, it's like you're just feeding into a workbench, and it turns it into a new blade for your knife.
Oh God, just little people living inside the bench. Yeah. Well, I mean, first-person zombie stuff is pretty awesome.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be I'm probably going to buy one more game with zombies in it, and that'll be The Walking Dead. And then I'm calling it quits with zombies for quite some time. I've had enough.
Well, I mean, something first-person. I mean, because I don't know if first-person is your thing, but I know you kind of dug Portal.
Yeah.
Portal 2. You and I were on the same page about that a lot.
Definitely.
I picked up Quantum Conundrum, man. And let me tell you, if there was ever a Daniel Knapman game, this is it.
Sell it to me.
Okay. So, first off, for $20, you could either buy the game for $15, and this is at least on Steam. I don't know if there's a season pass on the Xbox 360 or if it's on the PS3, but there is a sort of season pass for $20 that includes 2 forthcoming DLCs. Now, what that's going to be, I have no idea. But I got it on sale 40% off. I got the season pass for $11.99.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, during the sale. And it was something I was looking at for a while. But it's that game that's from Square Enix published it.
Yeah.
And it's Airtight Games, who is now Kim Swift. The one from the original Portal project. She graduated from, I think, what was it, Digipen? With the class that created, what was the original name of Portal? Narbacular Drop.
Yeah.
Right? This game it's kind of devious. It is kind of devious. It does not give you, that feeling that Portal gives you that makes you feel like you just won the fucking Nobel Prize when you solve a chamber?
Yeah.
It doesn't give you that. But it gives you the I can't believe I just did that. That shit's awesome. Like, it gives you that feeling. That feeling's great.
Cool. Yeah.
And if you were you a Star Trek: The Next Generation fan?
Yeah.
Dan?
Yeah.
You know who the disembodied voice is?
No.
Q.
Oh yeah, I did know that. Yeah, Q.
Yeah, John Delancey. He is okay, and he's not fantastic. It's not a Cave Johnson, sort of level of performance.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff that he says is kind of witty and kind of funny and kind of snide, sort of the same cue.
Sort of like his, yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of like the same thing. But like the humor is sort of like there's a ton of books laying around and stuff in this mansion. And like one of them says something like Henry to the 8th power instead of like Henry the 8th. Like stuff like that. It's great. But the premise is there's no portal gun or anything like that, right? It's all shifting dimensions. So in the beginning, you can't control it. So all the dimensional shifts, whenever they sort of introduce another dimensional shift, and I'm going to sort of probably spoil the third one, the third sort. I don't know the fourth yet. I haven't even gotten there. and it's not really a spoiler because it's not about the dimensional shift and what it does. It's about how you interact with it.
Yeah.
You know? So whenever you get introduced to a new dimension, the shifts kind of begin with, the old drinking bird that like tips over all the time?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Well, that thing, every time it tips over, it hits a button that shifts the dimension.
Yeah.
So you only have a set amount of time.
You just remind me of that Simpsons episode where he's working from home and he's got that bird and it keeps hitting the H button. Yeah.
That's great. That's kind of exactly like what this is. It's super accurate. So, and that's kind of what happens. And then you figure out how to cope with that and how to deal with it. And then, like, each chamber has a generator in some corner, or it's difficult to get to or whatever.
Yeah.
And there are 4 open, like, receptacle slots in it. And each one, you need a little, like, sort of plug in each of the dimensions. Right? So, like, your heavy dimension will be red, your fluffy dimension will be blue, and your sort of slow time, which is the third one that I just got, it's like slows down time by a factor of God knows what. It's yellow. So, but you'll come across some chambers that have 2 of those locked up. So then you have to figure out what you need and unplug one and plug back in to figure out, like what you need. The way you control it is like think in your head like the NES Power Glove.
Right.
Okay. But this thing looks like a Power Glove. It's called the IDS device. Interdimensional shift device, I think it's called. And it looks just like a Power Glove, like I said, but it has like 4 huge buttons on the top of it. And each one of those is sort of, I guess, dedicated to a different dimension.
Yeah.
But it's so cool, man. Like there was one puzzle that I just did where there are like sort of launch plates that sort of launch at an angle and some launch straight up in the air. But there was one at an angle where I had to press a button and this like hole in the wall shot out like 3 safes, like actual like floor safes, So I can't pick them up when they're heavy.
Right. So you go into the fluffy dimension.
Yeah. So you shift into the fluffy dimension, pick one of those up and go over and set it on the pressure plate.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is it's like a springboard.
Yeah.
But then it took me a while to realize I had to kind of bring another one over and set them both like halfway on this thing, right? And then shift to the heavy dimension, and then they both weigh the springboard down. Okay? So I jump on top of the back one, switch to the fluffy, it launches all 3 of us into the air, and then I have to grab the one that's floating in front of me, turn to the right, throw it forward, then switch to the slow time dimension, and use it as a platform to jump over to get to like traverse a gap.
Cool. So I guess there'll be some way you've got to like pick up something heavy in the fluffy dimension, throw it, put it in the slow dimension to catch up with it, and then catch it on another platform and put it down, stuff like that. Yeah.
Like there's a ton of stuff. Like there is a complete, like at one point you have to slow down time because there's like a complete like river of furniture that you have to platform across and stuff. It's great. It is. And like I said, it doesn't give you that aha moment, but it just gives you like that, God damn it, should have took 20 screenshots of that sort of thing,
Yeah.
And just for what it is, I think I already have 5 hours on it. I'll bet you I probably have maybe another hour and a half, 2 hours.
Well, I actually haven't bought it, but I have kind of looked into it. Yeah, very tempted by it. I do know what the 4th dimension is.
I don't want to know. I don't mind spoiling stuff for everybody else. I don't want. Anyway, you got to download the demo at least and try it.
I will.
I think you'll love it. I really do. right, Dan, we got a little bit of correspondence again this week, and the first email reads as follows. Hi, guys. It's me again, taking over the podcast one email at a time, smiley face. I started reflecting on the E3 press conferences for Sony, EA, and Ubisoft after the last show, which God knows was how long ago. But he said,
well, not that long ago.
Yeah, well, yeah, how about, just after the last show. How about that? A couple of things occurred to me. Number one, why is it that most, if not all, FPS games have to have swearing in them? Is it really necessary? I think someone is confusing the M rating. It's supposed to mean intended for mature audiences, not contains content of a mature nature, doesn't it? Adding swearing does not make something mature. Opinions, guys?
Sorry, hearing what he was saying and the FPS, it just made me think, fucking piece of shit.
Apparently, hope you don't have a problem with swearing in podcasts.
Yeah, terribly sorry. A lot of the games that obviously he's referring to, they're things like your Call of Duties, Medal of Honor, and your Battlefield. But I can't imagine people in that situation in real life not swearing. It kind of they almost go hand in hand. Whether or not they should be there, I don't know. I can think of one game that's classed an FPS without swearing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Portal and Portal 2. So 2 games.
And Quantum Conundrum.
And Quantum 3 games. But yeah, it does seem like, we've got to make sure it's not a proper M-rated game without swearing, and I don't suppose it's not necessary.
I mean, isn't it just the fact of, I'm 13 years old, look what I got my hands on?
Yeah. And it also seems like, they're thinking almost like, yeah, we can, so we will.
Yeah.
It's and there was one game, I can't remember what it was called, that FPS that we both tried and didn't like, where you got points for the way you shot people. Bulletstorm.
Yeah, Dick Tits. Bootstorm. Yeah.
Yeah, and that actually kind of made it feel more immature, the swearing and the way it was conducted. So
yeah, I mean, I think you're right. It's the Duke Nukem thing, and it is the Rockstar anything for shock value thing, sort of.
Yeah, so no, swearing doesn't make it mature, and sometimes it can make it feel immature. But I don't think, for games like the Call of Duty and it's ill, I don't think we're ever going to stop hearing that.
Yeah.
And especially not if you're playing over Xbox Live and listening to the little kids playing it.
Yeah, and I do think that there's probably a distinction to be made when it is used for emphasis, rather than like that. What was the South Park episode that they said shit?
Oh, yeah, the night of a million shits.
Yeah. Oh, well, he goes on to say, did anyone else pick up on how many times in the EA speech that the word service was used, and the implication that has for us, the paying customer? There's a world of legal difference between buying goods and buying services, and the publishers are trying to push in that direction, for their shareholders' benefit, of course, and no one else's. By the way, I really, really dislike the terms consumer and consuming content. We are gamers and we play games, damn it. And that's a swear word. Now, is there a reason? Do all emails need swear words?
Yes, they freaking do.
No, I mean, we are. We're a consumerist-driven society.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's kind of what we do. We do consume content, and if you kind of don't like it, I don't know what to tell you, because I think you got to get used to that, and you got to get used to the word service, because the all-you-can-eat buffet for this stuff is over.
Yeah, and if you actually take the time to read the terms of service on any game you care to purchase, you don't really own the game. You own the right to play the game. I'm not saying that's a good thing. It's just, it's the way it is. We can't step away from that now. It's been set.
Yeah.
And of course, EA and the other publishers are going to do the best they can for their shareholders and for themselves. It's all about money.
You've bought the right to consume it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you look at PlayStation Plus, and that has turned into a service, but it's a service that's worth $50 a year, I think, right now. Now, I mean, I don't know if that's going to change by next generation or even by the next couple of years, but, something like that. Like, I mean, Xbox Live, Gold. Look at how many times that they've went to the well on people for Xbox Live Gold.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Netflix, Hulu, all that stuff. I mean, that's exactly what we're going toward. And if you think that you live here in America and you're not going to get incrementalized on your internet bandwidth, you're fooling yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, everything these days is a service, pretty much, and you consume those services. There's no turning back. The dam has been breached, and no matter how many children there are sticking their fingers in the holes.
Oh boy, now we're going into Jerry Sandusky territory and Penn State stuff, and it's getting dark. It's getting dark. Free prostate massages for everyone. So this is good for you here, Dan. I recently finished a game, Test Drive Unlimited 2, and this got me to thinking on what constitutes completing a game. Oh, by the way, that Jerry Sandusky stuff, I don't know why I'm even going into this, but one of the excuses that he supposedly told the court of why he was like molesting kids, but he really wasn't.
I have no idea.
They were using the soap wrong.
It's internal soap, damn it.
God. Oh, God, that's the worst excuse ever. He says, do you take the view that you have to complete everything that can be completed to 100%, including all trophies and achievements, or is it enough to get to the end of the game with some optional parts not done? There are various multiplayer-related trophies that I could get in TDU2, and some other stuff that means having to replay parts of the game that I've already done in order to buy all the cars and houses, but I've succeeded in all the driving missions in the game. Am I done? What do you think? I think it's a simple answer, Dan.
Yeah.
Let me see if you come up with the same thing as me.
Well, first off, I'd like to say congratulations for playing Test Drive Unlimited 2 for that amount of time. I've got it, and I love driving games, but boy, that game's not great. It's good, but yeah, maybe, I don't know, get Burnout Revenge, much better game. I guess my opinion is you're done when you feel you're done, even if that means you haven't finished the storyline. If you've had enough of the game, you've had enough of the game. If that's as far as you're going to get, okay, you may not have completed it, but for Test Drive 2, getting that far, yeah, you're done. The online achievements might be a bit tricky. I don't know that many people play it anymore. So, yeah, in games like that, especially with online achievements, I don't tend not to care about achievements anyway. If you feel you're done, then you're done. I recently completed New Vegas in hardcore mode.
That was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
It was a lot of fun. I've only done one of the story arcs, but as far as I'm concerned, for now at least, I've completed it.
Was your speech 100%?
No. So I had some tough battles at the end.
Yes, you did.
Which were really enjoyable. My next playthroughs, and perhaps my speech will be 100% at the end.
Well, I think maybe I can take it a step further, or sort of maybe articulate it a little bit differently. If you're not having fun anymore, you're done.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you're done. I mean, it's funny, and I think maybe, I don't know if this is an option or not, but my home theater PC and my Wii have done wonders for sort of breaking that Pavlovian sort of urge within me for achievements and trophies.
Yeah, you see, I've never had that kind of thing with, I've got to get all the achievements.
I had platinum fever.
Yeah, you did. You were like, oh, yeah, ding, got it all. I'm like, yeah, okay, Steve. There's other stuff you could have been playing instead of trying to get that last little.
I will have a platinum on Walking Dead because all you can do is play through it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at my list on my 360 a little while ago, and I think I've got one game on there, possibly two, with 100%.
Mm-hmm.
The rest, I'm just like, nah, I'm done with that.
Definitely not important, though.
No.
Yeah.
What's important is, are you enjoying it?
Yeah.
If you're not, and you've had enough, stop. No one's making you play it.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
And to all of you out there, gamer score means nothing.
Yeah.
It's just some arbitrary figure that you've got to give. Yeah. I know people that have been playing on the 360 since it came out, and they've got a tiny little gamer score, but they're having a hell of a lot of fun playing games.
It's just an arbitrary penis.
Yeah. My digital penis is bigger than yours.
It's an arbitrary phallic representation. So he says, lastly, you'll be pleased to know I want you to imagine that there's a scale from 0 to 10 of wrongness, where 0 is absolutely and completely acceptable, and 10 is wrong on so many levels, just don't even go there. So having established that, how wrong is it for a 44-year-old guy to have booked off a day of work in 4 months' time in order to be able to play a game on that day that it's released? This is not something that I've done before, and in case you haven't already worked out which game it is, I'll give you this incredibly unsubtle clue. It's my most wanted game of the year. What do you think, Dan? Wrong?
Yeah, it's 12. No, it's 0. It's absolutely fine. It's your time. It's your holiday. You're taking from work. It's something you want to do. Absolutely fine. I know women that have taken days off work to go and get their hair done or have a manicure. You know, there's plenty of people that would have taken the day off work to go and see The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
And there's no difference. It's absolutely fine. You know, it's something you want to do. It's your time. It's up to you what you do with it. If you were taking the day off and not booking it off and just phoned up saying, "Oh, I'm feeling a bit ill, I can't come in," then, yeah, that's wrong.
Yeah, that kicks it up to about a 5. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
That's kind of screwed up. I mean, it's not wrong on so many levels. It's just that, you know, okay. But the worst thing is, like, at my job now, you can't even get a day off. Like, you have to book a whole week anymore. It's crap. But
which is fine if there's like 5 games coming out on the same day.
Yeah, or if it comes out like here, at least stuff comes out on Tuesday, so you can have the rest of the week to play around. But
yeah,
you know, no, I don't think that's. Here's the thing: if you're showing up for work, you know, on a consistent basis, if you're putting your 40 hours in, or you know, whatever, if you're taking care of your family, if your utilities are all still turned on,
yeah, and
what the hell is one day?
Exactly. If you've booked
enjoy yourself, pamper yourself.
Hell, have 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't see, and I don't think anyone could argue with that. No. Even if they are completely anti-video games, they can't say you shouldn't take that day off work and book it off work for something that you enjoy and are looking forward to.
Well, I mean, even say, like, it was Star Wars Episode 1, even though it turned out to be shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you could replace that with a book, replace that with a movie, replace that with, you know, there's a new, you know, electric guitar that's coming out that day, and I want to sit and play the guitar on my back deck. You know,
you're getting delivery of your new car.
Yeah,
you know,
anything.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it's your time, and it's solely up to you what you do with that time.
Yeah, I agree. Well,
more power to you for taking the day off.
Exactly.
Hope you enjoy Most Wanted.
Well, he says, as always, I look forward to the podcast. Keep them coming. Simon Kempster, a.k.a. Cozian. So we had one tweet in, Dan, from Destination Gamer, at Dest Gamer on Twitter. Great podcast by you all. Look forward to hearing more. Do any of you play Minecraft on the Xbox 360? And what do you think of the patch up to 1.7.3? Dan, you're the the Minecraft guy, not me. So
yeah, and although I have it on the 360 and my phone and my PC. I've not really touched the 360 version. I've been playing a lot of it on the PC recently with the tech kit with Lee, DJ Leroy, and the Mighty Dave. That's been great fun. The 360 version, because I've let my gold subscription go, Minecraft on your own is not quite so fun. The thing I like about Minecraft is, you know, you can. It's kind of like having a model railway or something. You spend all this time doing stuff, and then you go, "Hey, look at this." When you're playing it on your own, you're just like,
yeah.
Hey, come round. Have a look at what I've done on this game. And people like, what?
I've seen this for 30 hours. Yeah.
I haven't really, you know, I've wasted some money, I guess.
Well, I thought I did see, what they say, like sheep shears and stuff like that. And
yeah, it's all a load of stuff that we've had for ages on the PC version.
Is it like more granular things to allow you to do more granular things, basically?
Yeah, but there's I think there's pistons in there, so you can do stuff with pistons.
Well, I guess. I mean, I guess there's probably a use for it, you know.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure everything that's in there, but it seems like anything that can bring the 360 version closer to the PC version has got to be good.
Yeah, yeah. And if you're looking for a place to play Minecraft on the 360, you need to look at Gaming for the Elderly.
Yeah.
I mean, because they got it going on over there, man.
Yeah, they've got a dedicated Xbox that's on 24/7 to run the server.
Plus,
they did have a bit of an issue.
Yeah.
Recently.
Plus, there's some great people over there.
Oh yeah, fantastic people. Someone came in and destroyed everyone's houses. One of the chaps, can't remember his name now. He'd built his house out of obsidian. So they took all of his diamond axes, which are pretty much the only things he can use to destroy the obsidian. Destroyed his house and then destroyed the axes.
Oh man!
So yeah, they weren't too happy.
Yeah.
And if the person who did that is listening to this, shame on you. Shame on you.
Yeah. GFY. All right, Dan. We're about done. Shout outs.
The world. Actually, one shout out. Two, I guess. To you and Zerum for that. Was it Zerum? Or was it big?
Yeah, it was Zerum. Yep.
Zerum, yeah. Mm-hmm. For the Dead Island code.
Yeah,
Thanks
you're welcome. I saw it on special and I texted him right away and I was like, I know Dan wants it, and it's only $15 a piece. Who cares? So he still has a copy to give out.
I really appreciate that. Thanks
no problem. I figured we could have some fun with it. But
yeah, definitely.
Actually, for me, I wanted to shout out my wife and her friends. One of her friends, wait till you hear this, man. The Pittsburgh Pirates baseball team is actually doing rather well, mainly because they have some hungry young players and the division they're in is shit. Okay. So, I haven't followed baseball for a long time, but one of her friends called and said, I got 2 extra tickets to the Cambria Club inside PNC Park. And it was this thing, I'm telling you, dude, catered dinner, air-conditioned boxes, like inside this baseball park.
Yeah.
It was insane. I'm telling you, like buffalo chicken, macaroni and cheese, pale ale braised short ribs, all this kind of stuff at a baseball game. Gourmet hot dogs, gourmet nachos.
You're making me hungry.
I know. Like a bunch of coolers full of soda and water and stuff. The only thing you had to pay for was the beer. And then they just pop the windows open when the game starts and you can sit there and watch out the windows. Guess how much the tickets were?
No idea.
Each. $155 a piece.
Damn it, I was about to guess 150.
Wow. Wow. It was the first time I was ever in a box like that at the
that sounds fantastic.
at a baseball game. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So big ups to her. And the Symphony of the Goddess that I went to with Einza Maciel, Amherst 89. We had a good time. My wife went, and they took some respective significant others. And man, Symphony of the Goddess, man, 25th anniversary of Legend of Zelda, big celebration, just awesome. We'll be talking about that pretty soon though too. And VGHub.net, great gaming content at VGHub.net. Go over and take a look. If you're a site that's not yet affiliated, all you need to do is drop an email to Duke Scath at the top and get on in on VGHub. It is a great community filled with great people. So, Dan, web for the week to come.
Yeah, Hardlydan on Twitter, Steam, Raptor. That's about it at the moment.
Yeah, that's it.
yeah, just Hardlydan. Look for me. I'm probably there. What about you, Steve?
Yeah, I'm the same. Just plug me in, JSS LIFELIKE, pretty much everywhere. So if I'm not there, then that tells you that I'm not there. So yeah. So all right, Dan, take us home, buddy.
Okay. Well, you may have noticed we've got a lovely looking new site with forums. So
yeah. We've got to keep it going.
Drop us some stuff. Yeah, we'll read it out if it's good enough content, obviously.
Well, you know what I'd actually like to do is to start taking some suggestions for RPG stories.
That was
stories
good.
And things on the forum. So get on the forums and do that.
Yeah, pose us some questions.
Yeah.
Facebook, get us on there, like us, and we'll read out your name. We're also on Stitcher, so if you want to stream the show, check us out there. And again, I know I say this every week, we're doing Extra Life this year. Please send us your monies. You can get us on extra-life.org/team/VGHub Team 2012.
You know what I was kind of thinking? I was hoping maybe we could get just one of the streams will be all of our heads on one stream. Everybody could watch our heads. It'd be awful.
It's got to be better than watching me play Snuggle Truck for 24
hours.
Yeah,
that's probably right.
Voicemails. We want more. Please call the RPG hotline at 412-267-RPG1. If you're not in the States, then, a few quid on Skype, or probably not even that much, you can drop us a line.
Yes.
If you don't want to spend any money, you can always email us.
Exactly.
That's the gamesmanrpg@gmail.com. And if your fingers are too tired, you can always tweet us in 140 characters or less at the gamesmanrpg. You can listen to our channel at youtube.com/gamesmanrpg. We've got some tag-alongs there. You can look at some of the first 15 minutes of a few of the games we've been playing recently. And if you do use iTunes, please leave us a review. We sorely need them. And I think the English listeners are kind of beating guys in the States. So.
Yeah, big time, U.S. people.
Come on, England.
I guess you're actually like called Americans or something. Yeah. So, yeah, get on that.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think that's it for...
All right. Well, thank you very much, Dan, again. Good to get together and talk some games and stuff with you. And hopefully we'll meet back here next week for RPG.
Yeah. It could be one of your questions if you drop us a line.
Yeah, that's right. Get on the forums, go to thegamesman.com, and click the forums button at the navigation bar at the top, and get in there. There's a podcast section. Get in there and suggest some news stories and some roles for RPG. So, yeah. All right, that's it. Thank you very much, Dan. So on behalf of Dan, Hardlydan, Natman, I am Lyfeliek. We are the Gamesmen, and until episode 80, we ask,
what role will you play?
Satisfied with the podcast, please return any portion for a full refund.
So you can run and tell that, homeboy.